prove that you fight well. Now you can join us.
Keep copy.
Wake up, check your phone, ignore the alarm, you're still alone. Wake up, rewind the night. Who are you? But also kind of who am I? Wake up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of F and Adulting. My name is Lorena.
And I'm Crystal.
Hey, you look beautiful. Your hair is
Really?
so long now.
Oh my God, didn't it grow fast?
It did. What the fuck? The last time I saw you, it was short.
I don't know. For
Are
some
you wearing
reason-
extensions?
No, I can't
Tinkerbell,
afford them.
is she wearing extensions?
No, yo no tengo dinero para eso.
Ella me compró mi pollito. Nada más tiene dinero para mi pollito.
Sí, apenas tiene. Ay, ay.
Ay, ay.
How you been, buddy? I miss you.
I miss you. I miss your
I was
face.
looking at your pictures. You look like you lost a lot of weight, buddy.
Oh,
You look
whatever,
so
dude.
good.
It's the black dress. Black
Dude,
dresses always do
no.
that to people.
Nah, dude, you look nice.
Always. No.
I was like, oh, buddy.
Oh. People always tell me that, like, oh, like whenever I go back home or whatever, they're like, oh, you look thinner. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I think I've gained weight.
No, you
You
look
know,
really
and then
good.
people are like, well, I'm like, was I like a lot bigger? And then like they see me and you're like, oh, you look thinner. And I'm like, but I see myself every day and I feel like I got bigger, you know?
Well, that's because you don't know your own body, you know what I mean? But I think you look good, you know what I mean?
Well, I
Like
think you
you're
look
losing
good.
weight. For real.
Am I? It's funny. I don't
Yeah.
think I am. I like I get on the scale and it's the same. Like I'll lose like a pound or two or whatever, but I don't feel like it's been like, that drastic where I'm like, oh, okay, like, oh, I can see it, you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I think you look really good.
Thank you.
I'm like,
It's just that I'm happy.
For next week.
I think it's just the happiness that exudes, like it just like makes you look thinner, I guess. Happiness makes you look thinner.
No, it's not that.
Who knew? Who knew happiness makes you look thinner? Just kidding.
Right? There you go. Shoot, I'm super happy.
I'm freaking happy. Look at me. Have you seen Blind? What is it? Love is Blind on
No.
Netflix. Oh my
I-
god! I saw the first one, season 1, and I thought it was good. But then season 2, I was all like, I watched a little bit of it, and I just stayed watching the whole thing.
The whole thing.
I
like, it's
binge
addicting.
watched the whole thing because it's so addicting, and it's insane because I don't know if you know the concept of it.
No.
So basically, what they do, they get like 15 people, like 15 females and 15 males, right? And then they like gather them in a house, like they're separated, right? And the only way, and these people are there to find love and actually get married by the end of this,
Oh
to
shit.
get proposed and get married because they're ready. Like they're like, I've been dating for too long, and usually, like, I don't know, like it's a project, like the project is for them to meet people, but they're meeting in pods. So they're like, they go into these rooms and there's a wall and they can't see the person. They're just talking to them.
Oh,
So they
okay.
get to know each other, like personally.
Yeah.
Like they try to avoid talking about like physical, like how they look or anything like that, because the whole project is like to
For
fall in
real.
love with someone inside how they are,
Not how they
how
look.
compatible they are, and not how they look. Yeah. So basically, it's like a social project or whatever. And so yeah, like the first season was really good, and then like you see these people like go in there for like what 3 weeks or so. I'm not really sure. I think it's like a month or less than a month. And they're just dating these guys. Like they'll go to the little pot and they'll meet the guy and then they'll like write down like some little facts or whatever about the guys. And then they start like, okay, seeing who they like, who they're like really compatible with, or who.
Yeah.
And then they start like dating them instead of like dating other guys or like my favorite two or whatever, right? So then they start dating them And then at the end of it, either the guy proposes or he doesn't, or whatever. But yeah, they end up proposing, and then they end up, after that, they meet each other in person. So it's like, what the fuck, like they already
And
proposed.
yeah, so it's like, can you take it back?
Yeah, you can take it back, if you like, that's the whole concept of it. Like, is love blind? Like, can you fall in love with someone getting to know them
Without,
without
yeah,
seeing them, you know, without seeing physically? So then, like, they meet each other and they're like, oh my God, whatever. They either have chemistry or they don't. And then after that, they go to like Mexico, like for a little honeymoon kind of thing to get to know each other physically, like, and like live
yeah,
together and like not live together, but like stay together for like a week or so, or a few days. And then after that, either they're like, either they stay together or they don't, because sometimes they fight. Sometimes you
yeah.
just don't get along or whatever, right? And then after that, like they go back to their hometowns or to wherever, and then they get to meet each other's like place, like where they live and their parents and family,
That's
and
crazy.
then a week late or 2 weeks later they get married. So like they have a
That's
wedding. Yeah. So they're meeting their parents and their family and stuff, and then they're telling these people like, yeah, I'm engaged already. I'm gonna get married in 2 weeks or whatever. And these people are like, what the fuck,
yeah. Like,
like
what do
the
you mean?
family members are like, what? So yeah, and it's really interesting because you're like, wow, like they're already talking about like, oh, I'm in love with you. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that because I guess I'm more of I get attached real quick. So I
Yeah,
guess I can totally see like falling in love with someone, but to the point of getting married, you know?
yeah.
It's a
Like
little
within that
like,
time.
yeah. So then I was watching it and there was like six couples, and then one of them just kind of like fell, like they just didn't, the girl didn't really like him. She fell in love with one of them with another guy that chose another lady, and they were like already engaged or whatever. So she kind of said yes to this guy, but I
Just
think
cut.
she liked him, but I think she was like more like, hey, let me see what I can do, like to try to get this other guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, let me stick around and see what happens.
And see what's up. Yeah.
So then, so they didn't happen, and then so then they all go through the whole wedding part. Like they go to the ceremony or whatever, and then when they're in the ceremony, they say "I do" or "I don't." So you're
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, are they gonna get married? Or are they,
Like, is
are
he
they
gonna
gonna?
say yes or no? Yeah.
So you're
That's
like that, like
crazy.
what? So it's crazy because a lot of the couples said one of them said no. Because they couldn't go through with it because either something happened or they just didn't think it
They
was
weren't
enough.
feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reunion, they were like saying that they think that love is blind because they do fall in love with these people, but
Yeah.
that there's more to it, like you can't just like
Yeah. Like
marry someone.
I think there has to be, like, for example, like for me, like, yeah, it's kind of like, I feel like even if you like fall in love with the person inside, like you also got to be attracted to the person, I think, I don't know,
Yeah,
I
and some of them are
maybe I'm being
attracted to.
selfish, but
Yeah, some of them are attracted to them, but it's just like I feel like there's so much that they don't know about each other
yeah, that's what I was gonna
to
say
get
too.
married. Like,
Yeah,
so there was an El Paso guy there.
shut up.
He was from El Paso. Well, he's from El Paso. And he went all the way with the girl, like to the wedding ceremony and everything. And he was the one that said no. I don't, like when they say I do or I don't, just they asked him first and he said I don't. And the reason was because that there was a lot of things that like he still wanted to date her, but he
But he
didn't
wasn't
want
like,
to, like he wasn't ready to commit like marriage, like that commitment.
That's cool. That sounds pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of that other show where there's people who they meet people like out of the United States.
Oh my God. Don't tell me about that one because that one, I'm addicted to that one too. 90-Day Fiance.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I only watched like the first season of the first like I guess people,
Uh-huh.
and I thought it was so crazy. Like, and like these girls are bitches sometimes.
It's insane because I was like, I was telling my friend because she posted something. And I'm like, what? Like, you watched that? Like, I was cracking up. I was like laughing, like, kind of like making fun of her, like, whatever. And then I started watching it. And oh my God. I got
And you're like, okay, I get it.
I got all into it. And I saw the whole, like, it's a 90-Day Fiance, but before the 90 days. And it's insane. Like, you look at it and you're like, he's obviously, or they're obviously doing it for like a green card or something,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
see the person and you're like, this lady's like almost 60 years old and this guy's like 20 something.
yeah.
Like, honestly, like, and then y luego se pone sus moños, like las señoras, like,
Are you talking about the guy that's like abuelito? The
¿cuál?
in the begin the first season, like it's an older pretty lady, but I
No,
guess
that one, yeah, I think that one, he wanted exposure. I feel like he wanted to like,
just be
because
famous.
he's from Germany, so he's fine. He doesn't really need a green card or anything. He could like cross and
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, like I stayed watching that shit and I was like, oh my God, like I
I
started thinking, I'm like, is love really blind? Do you think love is blind?
I think it can be.
Do you
Like
think
it
you
can
could
be,
fall in
but
love with someone like without like,
no. I don't think
you
it
know?
I mean, I think you could fall in love with someone, but I think it just makes a big difference like when you meet each other and like I don't know, like it has a big factor, like are you attracted to this person? Like yeah, you're in love with the inside part,
Yeah.
but I think also you gotta be attracted to the person, and if you're not, then like it's always gonna go. I mean, I'm not saying that I just care about looks or anything, you know what I mean? But
No, but
everything
yeah.
falls into place where like you gotta be attracted to them, because even if you love them and you're not attractive, like I think that has a lot to do with like, obviously you
I
gotta sleep
feel
with her,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So if you're not attracted to someone, then how are you gonna
I
you're
feel
not
like it
gonna
could
not have
be
sex, all the time.
it would be more like a friendship. Like, oh, I
Yeah,
love
exactly.
you as a person because I love how you are. Like, I'm in love with
But
your
I'm not.
person, with your feelings and emotions and whatever. But I'm not in love with your outside.
Yeah, like this is not working
Oh,
for me.
it doesn't match. Oh yeah, like I think, yeah, you're right. Like I feel like I don't know. Like it could go both ways because you can fall in, like you can meet someone who you're not physically attracted to and grow to be physically attracted to them because you just fall in love with them because you fall in love with how they are. And then
That's
you're
true.
just like, oh, I'm in love with, and I love how he looks because I love him, you
Because
know?
you're in love, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So
know what?
I think
That
love
makes
is blind.
I think so. I don't know. I think so
But I
maybe
feel
too,
like,
because I'm sure that you've been attracted to someone at a point
yeah,
that's not even like that, because everybody keeps telling you like, oh, they're not good looking, but they're good looking to you.
exactly. So that's what I'm
You know what
saying.
I mean? So
Like,
it doesn't really matter, but
I feel like the whole point of you not being able to be physically with someone, and have that chemistry. I think that's why I'm like, I don't know if I can fall in love with someone just by talking to them. I can fall in love with like, oh, you think you're fucking awesome, and like I love how you are. You're freaking amazing, and we have so much in common, and blah blah blah. I can see us together, like partying or like traveling or whatever. But I think the fact that like how I was saying, like I feel like if you're not physically attracted to someone in the beginning, but you're like with the person, like in, like you can see
I
them, touch them, and like and smile at them, and because that tends to, I feel like that's a lot, like when you look at someone and you're talking to them and what they give you, like with their
yeah, like
and their
you
reaction.
can even like for example, there's like some people that like let's say you meet them and you're like, oh my god, like I love their smile, I love their
Yeah,
eyes, you know what I mean? Like even just a smile could be like something, you know what I mean? But if you're
yeah,
not gonna be attracted to someone, then that smile's not gonna be anything. Or I don't know, like I don't know
yeah.
if I'm
Well,
being like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like you don't have to be attracted to them like automatically, but just like feeding off of their energy and just having them
yeah,
in
like you
person.
could turn to be attracted to them. Yeah,
And then like, yeah.
it could happen, and definitely it could, you know what I mean? Like I said, like I'm sure we've all had that one person we've had a crush on or like that wasn't, somebody that you usually go out with, like, oh,
Yeah.
was it pretty, you know what I mean? And because I've actually had crushes on, girls that are not good looking, you know what I mean?
And then
But
it could go the other way where you're like, oh my God, this person is someone who I'm like, okay, this is the person that I go for, this is my type. And then you talk to them and there's
and
no
then it kills
chemistry and you're
it.
like, ew. And then you see
Eh,
things that are like that you start not liking about them
and that makes
physically.
them ugly
And it
also.
makes them ugly, and you're like, what the fuck did I see in this person? Like, and then you start noticing little things that you didn't notice before
Exactly.
because of
And that's
how they
happened to
are.
me too. I
Yeah.
remember you would even I would even tell you about this girl that I was seeing. I remember I would tell you, like, I
That's
don't know,
right.
like I don't know why she's seizing me, she's too pretty, and then you'd be like,
Mm.
no, don't say that. But then little by little I started to get to know her, and now like, oh, like
¿Verdad?
I
Pasa.
stopped talking to her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When in the beginning I was like, oh my God, like
I can't believe
I
she's
don't
talking
know
to
what she's
me.
talking to me for, but then I'm like, oh,
You're like, why am I talking to her?
like, wait a minute. I had it all wrong.
Yeah. And it's crazy, I guess, because it just has to do with the balance of everything.
That's true,
Like,
yeah. Everything
have
does balance
to.
out. So are you ready to come to El Paso or what?
I'm freaking ready, dude. I'm all like,
It's next week already.
it is like, no. Yeah, it is next week
Yes, it
already. Oh
is,
my
dude.
God. I keep saying, no, it's in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
It is, and I know for a fact that it's next week because I remember I told you that I had asked for the days off since a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, my boss made a comment. He's like, "So why do you want those days off, huh? You want to get drunk off of that green beer?" And I was like, "What?"
Oh, that's right, because it's St. Patty's
Yeah,
Day.
and then I was like, I was confused, and then I was like, "Wait, but I asked for like these days off," and he's like, "Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day." He's like, "And then you need an extra day to get like
You're
better."
like,
I'm like,
sir,
"You
I
know, I
can't
can't
drink.
drink, Jeff. Like, come on." And then he's like, "Oh yeah." And I told you my friend's getting married. I've known her since we were like little kids. So,
Yeah.
she's like my sister. I gotta be there, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there. So
I'm
that's why I'm like, "Oh,
excited.
next week."
I'm,
Ah!
I'm excited because I'm like,
I'm very excited too, buddy.
it's insane because I talk to everybody and everybody's so excited. And I'm
I
like,
gotta
I didn't
prepare a
I didn't think that,
speech.
huh?
I said I gotta prepare a speech. I have to, like
It's funny because I'm like, I didn't think people were gonna get so like, like, oh my God, like you're gonna get
I
married.
mean, how can you not though?
Excited, you
Like,
know?
how can you not? Like, honestly, it's gonna be so exciting. Like,
Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about scammers obsession series.
Just knowing the people who were at the top, like they did not strike me as too smart or like too talented.
Work hard, play hard.
The youngest billionaire in the world.
Scammers, imposters, opportunists, people who exploit people for money, like or whatever. And we've seen a lot of stories recently, and we're gonna be talking about it. Well, we're gonna do a series on, different scammers or con artists, and we're gonna begin with Anna Delvey, which is the one from Inventing Anna. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the series, right? It's gonna be a series of different con artists, and we're gonna start with Anna, and then we have the Tinder swindler. Then I want to talk about Elizabeth Holmes. So yeah, today we'll talk about Anna Delvey, which is, if you haven't heard about her, she's so Anna Sorokin. She's a Russian German convicted con artist and fraudster. Between 2013 and 2017, Sorokin pretended to be a wealthy German heiress under the name of Anna Delvey. This Anna Delvey girl, she pretended to be a wealthy German heiress while defrauding banks, hotels, and friends, among others. She was convicted in 2019 for grand larceny in second degree, and theft of services. So
Yes,
it's
dude.
insane.
And I think the conviction was in 2019, April
Yeah.
25th.
So I don't know
Dude,
if
and she was so young. Like, how do you come up with shit like this?
and it's insane because if you notice, she was so confident too. I think she honestly believed her own lies, you know?
Yeah.
And it's insane
I
because
mean,
you if you believe it, you fake it
women
till you make it. It's like a fake it till you make it type of deal,
kind
you
of
know?
deal, yeah. Like, kind of when
Like
you apply at a job that you really don't know shit about,
you're just like,
and
hey,
you're just there and you learn little by little until you made
right?
it.
I think she was pretty big on social media, right?
Yeah, I think she was pretty big. A lot of people were following her. I think she had over, I don't know, 100 something thousand or something like that, or even more. And then, like, I even had seen some pictures here, like, of her in court, and she looks like she's happy.
She looks like it seems like it just doesn't hit her. Like she's like, but I'll give you the money. You want me to wire you the money?
She's crazy.
It's funny though, because if you think about it, I don't know if you've seen that scene with Ocean's 8 with
Which
Sandra
one?
Bullock. Well, you know how in the beginning when she gets out of jail or prison,
She goes to the
and then
store
she goes to the store and she's all dressed up, all nice, right? Because obviously
confident.
that's how they caught her, right? She was all dressed up like in a gown and everything, right? And so she's all confident walking around and grabbing all these things, you know, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm here to return these." And they're like, "Oh no, you can't return it here. You have to go
You need a
somewhere else." And
receipt.
then she gets, yeah, you need a receipt or you need to go somewhere else. And she's like, ugh, like annoyed,
She's like,
like,
you just like,
can I just
yeah,
get some bags in? And then the
like
girl
all
gets her
frustrated.
bags and then she just puts them in there and she walks away.
Like, la la la. Dude, for real. Like, how can you be? I don't know. Like, that was a good movie. I loved
I
it.
feel like you just have to be really confident.
Yeah.
You do. And let me tell you
Because
why.
if you act a little bit nervous or something, you're gonna get caught.
Let me tell you why. Okay.
Why?
I pulled my own Anna Delvey, Sandra Bullock moment. So we had gone to go eat, we went to go eat lunch, like my friends and we're there and they're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do for your celebration?" You know, since they couldn't make it, they're not gonna be able to make it
To
to
El
the
Paso?
wedding. Yeah. So they're like, "Oh, we want to celebrate you, whatever, right?" And they're like, "Oh, well, let's go here. There's a little like they have a hotel bar here, and it's real pretty, you know." And we're like, "Okay, cool. You know, we'll meet up on Friday at 8 or whatever." And then I was like, "Okay, cool." And you know, I'm always late.
Yeah.
I'm always late. Well, it so happens that that day I was early. I was on time. You know, I got there on
Wow,
time.
no. It was probably windy over here that day then.
It
I
probably was really cold.
think it was.
So I'm there like smoking, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go inside. You know, I hate being anywhere like, and then especially like
Hello.
when you're all dressed up like that, and you're like just waiting for people. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. You
Oh,
feel weird.
this is a reason why I like to go late
Because everybody's
because
already gonna be there.
everybody's already there, right? So then I was like, okay, whatever. So I go into the bar. No, I go in and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the restroom, blah blah blah. I said, me pendeja, just so I can just kill time. And then I'm like, okay, so I go into the bar and it's such a nice bar. Like they have so much seating, like little spaces and stuff. And like, so I'm like looking and I'm like, well, maybe at the bar, like the actual bar, they have like chairs or whatever. And they didn't. So I'm like, fuck. So I'm looking and everything's pretty like packed. And then I looked that way and to my left there was like a seating here, but they're already sitting there and it was reserved. And then I looked like towards the back, and I didn't see that it was reserved. I just saw like a bunch of space and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go sit over there. So I start getting near it and then I'm like, oh shit, it's reserved.
Yeah.
Had a little sign like reserved, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna sit here. I don't care. I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna sit here. So I sat there and I was just there like texting or whatever. And then the waitress comes and she's like, oh, well, how many are gonna be in your party or whatever? And then I'm like, oh, 4. I tell her. And then she's like, okay, well, let me bring you some waters first. And then whatever. So I'm like there, like, all right, cool. Yeah, like she brings the waters and I'm just there, like kind of like sitting there, but at the same time, like looking around to see if anybody's coming over here.
Yeah. Go sit over there.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, well, what are they gonna tell me? Just to leave? Okay, I'll move. So I order a wine, and I'm just there, like just chilling and drinking. And then the girl's like she comes and she's like, whatever, like she didn't even ask me anything. So I'm just there, like hoping that nobody comes to like tell me to move.
Yeah.
And then eventually the first girl gets there and then she orders a drink and we're just talking and I'm like telling her, oh my God, I just came and sat here and it's reserved. And the girl hasn't told me anything. And then the other girl comes, another girl comes. And then the girl's like, oh, I didn't know. Because my friend Marcy brought me she brought me this one, the little Bright to Be.
Oh, that's cute.
So she put it on me. She was like, here, put it on. And this and that, right? So then the waitress comes and she's like, I didn't know you were celebrating. Let me bring you some champagne. And she brought us champagne and everything, right? And I was like, oh, and then the other 2 girls came. So everybody was there already. And I was all telling them like they're probably gonna come and tell us to leave.
Yeah,
because I just sat here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then eventually like the waitress comes and she brings us like little like peanuts and then like she's bringing us our drinks and stuff. And then she's like, oh, don't worry, let me see if I can find somewhere to sit you guys,
Yeah.
like all nice. And then we're like, oh, okay, whatever. So then, yeah, eventually, like, we just started taking pictures and stuff, right? And drinking. And then I guess the manager comes and then he's like, oh, don't worry. He takes the reserve thing and he's like, don't worry. You guys have the table, like, you guys have the space for like the remaining of the night, Like, nobody came. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
So I was like, oh my God, I just pulled an Anna Delvey or whatever.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna stop watching this shit.
I just confidently sat here and I was like, I'm not moving.
I'm keeping this fucking table.
What? I reserved it, okay? That's
I
right.
called it in, so I'm gonna.
And I was gonna be like, if they tell me anything, I'll be like, oh, I thought my friend had reserved it.
Or something, yeah.
I don't know, but it ended up like working out real cool because he was like, oh no, you guys stay here, you guys are good, you guys can stay here for the remaining of the night, it's fine, like don't worry about it. And we're like, oh fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, we were moving anyway, sir.
And I was like, you know what, let's get the fuck out of here.
You know what, we're leaving now.
We're leaving. We don't feel like
just because we know we can have it, we're leaving now. All right.
Since we know we can have it, yeah, we're it's not worth it anymore.
Like we don't even want it anymore, to be honest.
I don't want
it.
it.
We wanted it because it was, we couldn't have it. but now that we can have it, we don't want it.
We don't want
We're
it
leaving.
because
We're going next door.
because apparently anybody can sit here. It's
It's
not exclusive enough. But it was funny because I'm like, oh my god, you guys! I pulled an Anna Delvey or whatever.
And they're all like, what?
I was like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna sit here. I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
sitting here. I don't care if it's reserved.
And then but then I
Some
did care.
champagne, some wine.
Oh yeah, can you put it on room number 4 something?
Imagine, dude, that would have been fucking
That would
crazy.
have been insane.
That would have.
Yeah, put it on room. Can you charge it to room 4 or 5?
Please.
Yeah, well, we're gonna need a bottle of Cristal, please.
I imagine. Fuck, dude, that's so bad.
I feel like it's about confidence. It's like playing it off like you already, like it belongs to you, and you're.
Like, yeah, like you own the thing already. Like, fuck, you
And
know.
that's
Like,
what this bitch was doing, the Anna Delvey girl. You know, like she would play off. Like she said that she never said she was an heiress, but she did. Technically, she would say like that she was gonna come into some money eventually, but that her dad wasn't like had cut her off kind of like until she was a certain age that she was gonna get that money. So then she wouldn't pay for a lot of things because of that.
dude, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, she must have been really confident for people to believe her because, like, if I came up to you and I just told you a story like that, like, why would you believe me? Unless I was like really confident about it, like, you know, like all
And then
calm
the
about
thing is that she was tipping, like she would go in, well, after she had scammed like all this money and had this money accessible to her,
it. Had a lot of money.
she would like make it obvious, like, here, let me tip you 100, like every time to everybody who would help her and have it like for people to see, like, hey,
I have the money.
I have money, and
Yeah.
how are the people gonna be like wondering, like, oh, she probably doesn't have money. She's probably like
Yeah,
they're
like
gonna
you just
think that
gave me
you have
$100
money.
tip. Like, definitely she has money, I guess. Yeah.
She had accumulated $30,000 bill at the 11 Howard Hotel in Soho using funds she allegedly gained from depositing fraudulent checks. And then she was evicted and moved to the Beekman Hotel, which she failed to pay $11,518.
Dude, yes.
It's funny because you know how they usually like you have to put a card on file,
Yeah.
and then she would put it, and then it was like, oh no, she didn't even put a card on file because she would be like, I'm busy or whatever, and then they would just kind of like let her go,
Like, oh, all right, shit.
like she was busy.
And then
right
all
now.
this time, all the time's running, and then the bill's running, and then she just never actually paid. And then, like, also, dude, I was reading that even after all this, like, they paid her money for the show, like, on Netflix.
Did she make money off of it? I thought she didn't make money off of it.
$220,000 for the life rights to the series. Like, so either way, she was like, she's still convicted and everything, and she's still banking, like, just because what she did was so crazy that they paid her to make a show about her life.
So speaking about her experience in prison, Sorokin told Pressler, which is the reporter or the journalist, this place is not bad at all, actually. People seem to think it's horrible, but I see it as like a sociological experiment. There are a couple of girls who are here for financial crimes as well. This one girl seems to be stealing other people's identities. I didn't realize it was so easy. So she was released from prison on February 11th, 2021, but was taken back into custody a month later for overstaying her visa. As of February 2022, she is still being held in immigration and customs enforcement custody, awaiting deportation to Germany.
Like, from what I also heard, out of the money that she got, the 320,000,
yeah,
she spent 200,000 to repay all her debts, dude. And then the rest was for her legal fees. But what I'm wondering is, was she able to keep, like, because I know, like, did she make more money? Like, did they let her keep the money or what? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Like,
That she was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in state prison on Rikers Island, fined 24,000, ordered to pay restitution of around 199,000. So I don't know. I don't know if she was able to keep all that.
because look, dude, it says here the con artist. Okay, it says here that Delvey was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison, like what you said, for failing to
Yeah.
pay bills worth 200,000. The list of creditors includes hotels and private airlines. But the con artist was arrested before she could complete a more ambitious project, securing 25 million from an investment fund to set up a private art club with branches in Hong Kong. Dude, fuck.
That's crazy. She had, yeah, remember she had her eye on that spot where she wanted to do like a social club or something.
It's just, I don't know. That's crazy, dude. Like, how? I don't know. Like, I honestly, it sucks, to do this stuff. Like, it's bad people, but how the fuck can you, like, dude, like $25 million? Like, you know what I mean? There were, like, it's crazy. It's not like she was actually doing anything for it. And I don't know. It's just, she's got to be really smart. You know what I mean?
And I think she is really smart. She's
Give her
really
props.
smart.
Yeah.
Like and that's the reason why I don't know if if you saw the Inventing Anna, the whole reason why supposedly the whole reason why she told her story or was like willing to talk to this reporter was because she didn't want to seem like the stupid socialite girl, like, you know, she wanted people to think she was a smart chick.
Well, she
And
is
she
smart.
is, honestly, like if you think about it, to be able to get away with all that and then like being able to like
Well, like, I don't even think she got the 25 million. She was close to doing it, but like, just her, like, being able to,
get that
I don't think
far.
that she got caught, you know what I mean? But she
Yeah.
was so close to getting that money. Like, how the fuck do you get someone to almost give you $25 million? Like, and that's only because she got busted.
You
Like,
think it's obviously because of how she looked.
it's crazy.
Because she's not an ugly girl.
She's
And
not.
she looks like she could be an heiress. But I think anybody could look like there could be live there an heiress, dressed like how she was dressing.
Dressing like that, acting confident, like,
People are gonna believe what you tell them, especially if you believe it
especially if
yourself.
you own it, you know what I mean? If you're
Yeah,
owning it, of course. That's crazy.
that's the art of being confident and faking it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. She had to, oh yeah, she said she had to be 25 to be able to get that money. Like
Yeah. And it was
supposedly.
funny because she'd be like, okay, well, no, I'll pay you back. And then she would forget to like pay them back. You know?
Mhm.
Oh, God. It's trippy. It's trippy how people can get away with this.
I don't know. And then, like, especially like racking up hotel bills up to like 11, $10,000, dude. Like, how the fuck? Like, I don't even think I would have the balls to sneak into a fucking another movie. You know what I mean? Like, into a movie theater, like where you sneak.
Exactly. There's an article that I saw. It's the art of the con and why people fall for it. How the con is pulled off, why fraudsters are successful, and how to spot them. Um, because I was wondering, like, it's not that we're all incapable of getting scammed because you're like, oh, I'm so bright, and they can't scam me because I think anybody could get scammed.
I'm sure.
But it's like these people are big shots. Like I think she took money from banks that were so like exclusive, like And you're like, what? How the fuck did
Like
she
how
get money from this
that's
bank?
what I'm saying, dude. Like how like you gotta be fucking smart to be able to do shit like that. Like
Yeah,
from banks, from fucking like how the hell did you get a airplane ride? Like
the jet. Oh my
you
god,
know
the
what I mean?
private
Like
jet.
how the fuck? Like come on, give us your little pointers. Like I'm not saying I would do it because I probably don't have the balls to do it, but like just knowing like it's
And what
crazy.
she did, I think she was name dropping, like, because she met some guy who owns the jets or the private
Oh.
airplanes or whatever, and le dio la card. So he gave her, because she would like have like dinners and like stuff like that where she would meet like people from the socialite or
Business
whatever,
people and shit like
business
that.
people like top dogs and shit, and like they would give her her card, and she just seemed like she was just like, like living the best life and shit, and she was a businesswoman, and she was creating this social club, and whatever. So she was meeting with all these executives and
And people
banks,
with
and
money.
and I think she met a guy who had private airplanes or private jets or whatever, and le dio la card, and she went to the place, and she's like, oh, I already paid for it. I'll wire it or whatever. I already wired the money. And they're like, no, well, we need for it to clear before you even get it. She's like, I don't have time for this. And she like got on the fucking plane.
And they're just looking at her like, what the fuck?
And then the guy, yeah, they're just looking at her like, what? And then she's like, well, if you don't, you can call your boss, and clear that out with him. But I already wired the money or whatever. And she like took the fucking airplane. They let her fucking take it. And it's like,
Yeah, it's like it and it's crazy, you know what I mean? I wonder if those people like actually got in trouble for it though. I don't know if you found that out.
well,
Like because I mean,
on the show, I don't think they did. I don't think they did because, well, they might have. I'm not sure, but I think they were like worried, like, no, we can't do that. Like, we always have to make sure that it clears and we have
yeah,
the money before they take it.
or
And
like the way it is also like there's some companies like for example that they have a lot of like people with money go.
uh-huh.
And if you don't do what they say or whatever, like they'll end up calling like your boss and you get in trouble for it either way. So I'm thinking maybe she seemed like she was so important and like, so believing that they were like, oh, well, we're just going to let her go.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sure she'll pay because why
Yeah,
not?
like
Why
why would
wouldn't
you
she
do it?
pay?
No, yeah.
Like, yeah, like you're
Like
so
how,
confident that you have that money secured because she must have money, you know?
yeah, like why would you even go in there and be like, oh, well, I already have it wired. Like, oh, she probably did wire it then. You know what
Maybe it's
I
our system. Maybe
Yeah, or
that's
something,
insane.
Or yeah.
I'm saying it's funny because it reminds me of like how I'm telling you, she would always be like, oh, like I'm busy or whatever, like, and I feel like there's a episode on Seinfeld where George is working for this company, or I don't know where he's working for, but like the boss passes by and sees him, like he's always like, he looks like pissed off and like agitated and like annoyed, and he's like mad, and he's all like, every time like you look like that, you look like you're busy, like if you're doing something,
Yeah. Oh, I
and it's so
remember.
believable.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like she looked like she had some business. She's doing business and she doesn't have time to fucking deal with money problems. Like call my whatever. I don't want to be
Yeah.
dealing with this. And I already wired it. I don't fucking have to deal with that shit.
Like I don't need
Like,
to deal with it. Like if I told you I
and
wired it, I wired it.
I think that's why people would believe her. Like, because she was like, I don't deal with that shit, like I'm bigger than that. Like that's small stuff that I hire people to do. Like
Yeah.
like, don't
That's
fucking bother
crazy.
me with your bullshit fucking questions about money. Like, call my fucking assistant for that shit. Don't bother. Don't ask me. Just give me the fucking plane.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna get in because I need to get in this plane, and you're not gonna stop me because I have the money wired. It's gonna clear.
The money's there. It's secured. It's there. Just don't
It's
fucking
going
bother me
through.
with your stupid fucking questions about this, okay? I don't have the I don't have the time. I have more important shit to deal with than this bullshit.
I know, dude. Like it's crazy though. Like that's why when I had first when you told me about her,
Yeah.
how the fuck do you fuck? Like, dude, like it's not little fucking companies giving you $20, $30. No, like
No.
you're literally racking up hotels and then you're fucking around with banks also. And like it's not like $100, $200. No, these are like 11,000.
$30,000.
Dude, for real. Like how the fuck? That's a lot of money.
That's
Um,
insane. And I'm like, fuck, like, but I'm telling you, that's the skill. Like, she literally played it off like, I don't fucking, like, I'm good for them. Like, I'm good for it, like, I got the money. Don't fucking bother me with this fucking shit, like, I'll pay you. It's already wired, and it's probably your fucking system that's not working. And that's
so
not,
just fucking I'm getting
like,
out. I'm
oh, that one doesn't work
gonna
here.
get
Let me
on
give
that
you another
thing.
credit card.
Yeah,
And
and like she was also creating fake bank statements also, like which I think they were probably really good, like in order for people to believe that she had all that money, like available.
so, psychology of the con. Each of these con artists have one thing in common: the power of persuasion to swindle their victims. The successful ones exhibit three similar characteristics: psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, which have
Yeah.
been referred to psychologists as dark personality traits. Those characteristics allow con artists to swindle people out of their money without feeling any remorse or guilt. Another thing more chiselers have in common are their egos. These extortion salespeople boost their psyche of the perpetrators and make them feel even more confident. Thus, the description of the con has been termed as a confident game. So, yeah, that's what they say, con artist. Because cons often change their identities as part of their game, it can be pesky for law enforcement to catch them. Also, police may not even go after them when the crime has to do with bilking property and even money from their marks. That's because the law can consider the loss of civil issue and not a legal one, unless it's a corporate white collar crime such as those committed by Bernie Madoff, a former stockbroker financer, an operator of a massive pyramid scheme that perpetrated the largest financial fraud in recent US history, going after gifters in often a low status, more difficult to prove, and less likely to be prosecuted with violent crimes and terrorist acts of higher priority. That happenstance leads to a message for everyday people: buyer beware. So basically, like how the Tinder swindler, that guy didn't do any time, dude, because people were willingly giving their money to him. Like, hey, let me
Mhm.
let you borrow. Like, he would tell them, okay, well, let me borrow the money, and he wasn't going into their bank accounts or anything.
And stealing it, yeah.
They were willingly like here because they were thinking that they were gonna get paid.
So
So
it's
he
your,
didn't
yeah, you
end
decide
up.
to give them the money.
So he didn't end up doing any time because of that. And I'm like, that motherfucker is smart.
For real. Now that
Because
was smarter.
yeah, because this bitch, yeah, she did time because she like literally got services without paying.
Yeah.
And this guy got money,
That was given to
but
him.
willingly given to him with good faith that he was going to pay back. That in reality he was like, you know,
That's fucking crazy, dude. And that guy's smarter. That girl should have learned and Googled him.
and it's insane because after you learn from them, they're still on social media and they're still making a lot of money because people are so obsessed with the. That's why we have the Scammers Obsession series because we love, like, you love to hate these people, but you're like, fuck, they're
How
so
the fuck?
smart.
Yeah.
Like, how do they get away with this shit?
Exactly, dude. And like it's not only people like like that. Like we all get phone calls every day from fucking scammers. You know what I mean? Like trying to scam older people, or like if they're the IRS, and then people actually do send money to them. Like,
And it's because sometimes, like, I just learned about one that the bank is calling you, telling you that it's like the fraud. Like, oh, there's fraud committed to your card or to your account or whatever, and they're asking for information, you know? And
yeah,
it's
and then
like,
people give it. To them.
yeah, people sadly give them the information, but it's like, no, you should just be like, okay, and hang up and call
And
the actual
call the
bank.
actual bank.
Don't call the number they called you from, call
Oh,
the actual
especially,
bank.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think someone had gotten a call saying like, oh, like there's been fraudulent like activity on your account, and we just want to make sure we're looking out for you. We just want to make sure that, so we need this information to try to see, and and they like will lock you out of your fucking thing and like log in and like take money. But whenever like your bank calls you, you should call the bank directly, and if they did call you, they'll let you know,
They'll let you know exactly. And like, dude, like we were watching this video when I started working at Spectrum,
Mhm.
and it's a video of like this guy going. It's like a big thing of scams or something, like scammers or whatever, and like how easy it is to get information from a
Yeah.
company. And like it's crazy, dude. Like there's this one lady that she's a big, big scammer, like, but she doesn't do it as bad. Like it's to see and to show how companies don't protect your identity.
Yeah, like
Like,
she's
you
just
know what I
like,
mean? Like the
this is
right
how
way.
easy it is.
And
Mhm.
there's this in the background, she has like a speaker, and it's a baby annoyingly crying and crying, and she calls, and then she's like, oh, I'm calling, for my husband's, whatever. And they're like, well, we need a password. And she's like, you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I'm in a hurry. I'm here taking care of the baby. Like, and the baby's in the background, like a baby crying.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and this and that is happening. And then the people feel bad for them. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, it's fine. Like, I know your hands are full right now. Like, let me go ahead and get in there. And they end up giving them the information. You know what I mean? And it's that easy, dude. And like, you could see it on YouTube, dude. It's a
That's
video.
insane.
Yeah. And then they're all like, boom, whatever. And then there's like, with that information, they pull out the account and all that information they needed.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, what the hell, And then the guys are like, well, let's say you wanted to scam me, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And the lady goes into the computer and then starts looking into his stuff. And she gets his bank account. She gets all his information, dude. Like, and
Mm.
the guy's like, what the fuck? Like, because he's the one that's like being the reporter. And the
Mhm.
lady gets into all his shit. And it's crazy, like right in front of him. Like, it's crazy. Like, she calls
How
the guy's
easily,
phone call.
yeah.
Yeah, the phone company, and they get information. And it's crazy how they work to it.
And
Like,
that makes you wonder like how secure your information is like with other
exactly.
companies. They're like, what? Like, you won't give me information when I call and it's my account because I can't remember a pin or whatever, but somebody
It's
can call you and
important.
scam you to get me
Yeah.
my information and.
And it's like really, yeah, exactly. And it's like really important. That's why we had that video, because we are not allowed to give anybody information if they don't know their PIN number. And no
Yeah.
matter how mad the person is, like all you gotta explain is like, look, this is for your protection. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta give us that number. If not, we can't give you information, So like it's good to
And
actually
like
say no.
I can give you like general information. I can't give you any account information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
remember
I'm
saying
saying,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I was like, you work there too at Spectrum.
Yeah. No, yeah. And and it's insane because of también like when you work with medical stuff, you can really like the HIPAA, you can really disclose a lot of information
Exactly. Also, because you have to protect the
to
person.
certain people. Yeah. So you have to talk to the account holder because then there's a lot of little things. So I'm hoping that people do take that serious because it sucks because you do have to give a lot of information just to open
Mhm.
accounts and stuff, and for them to easily get scammed like that.
Like it sucks, dude. Like I'm telling you, one time it happened to me where like I think it was I don't even know where I was working. This was years ago. I stopped at a Taco Bell to go buy something, right? I had just gotten paid. I was all excited. And I used my card and they're like, it's declined. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I have money in it. Like, so like, you know what? Forget it. Like I'll be back for the food, you know? I went to go park and I call my bank and they're like, oh, we blocked your card because there was some activity that was in here in El Paso. They're like, they're, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, are you in El Paso right now? And I was like, yeah. They're like, well, your card's being your card, like, and probably made a copy of it or something. They're like, your card's being used in Las Vegas at an ATM. They tried to withdraw $10,000 at first. They couldn't get shit because obviously I don't have that much money, you know. But if I would have had it, been able to get it out. Then they went down to $5,000 and nothing was happening. They went down again the third time for $1,000, which then it was canceled. Like they blocked it. Because they were trying to take out that much money and they thought it was weird activity, so they blocked my card.
And they do that. Yeah.
And it's crazy though, because I was like, how the fuck did they get my information? Like my PIN number and my card.
Your physical card.
You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. It was weird to me. I still think about it to this day. Like, how the fuck?
But they were able to reimburse you or whatever, right?
Well, they didn't take out anything because obviously they were fucking ¿cómo se dice? They were trying to, but because they were trying to get so much money out, like the bank noticed that it was weird activity.
Because
so they do before they could actually get. If they would have gone to the 500s, they would have gotten it. Like, you know what I mean? But they didn't. They were going fucking high up there, and I was like, what the fuck?
So talking about a different thing, I wanted to talk about this. There's because I came across this through Instagram, and it's a video of a guy, and it's a podcast, right? It has nothing to do with scamming or anything. I just thought it was interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And it says, man says high earning women are less attractive.
Says, I got a good job. I make very, very good money. And she says, the only thing I need now is a man. It's like, yo, it's like, who wants you? Who wants you? You're right. Like, once you have achieved these things, you have unfortunately disqualified yourself.
Ooh, and shit.
And what it is these, because and this is the thing. I'm not blaming
the women are going to hate him for that shit. They are going to hate him for that. They I can't wait to put this shit out.
So I posted this on my Instagram, you know, because I thought it was interesting because it's funny that people like that men think that way. Well, not all men, you know, but I'm just saying like that he would say like, who would want you if they can't provide or they can financially, you know, like
provide for you because you provide for yourself.
Yeah. Like, so you're automatically unattractive anymore because you're not needy, I guess.
But then, dude, there's a lot of guys that complain about women trying to be all needy.
You know what I mean? Dumb, like
the gold digger, and it's like, what, bro? Like,
so my friend was like, because I posted it, and then he's like, well, what do you think about that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's funny that you asked because it's like, I think it's something that if you make a lot of money, if you make more money than your partner, and it happens to be a male, your partner, and I feel like some of them could be that macho and they feel emasculated. They feel like, oh no, I should be the one earning more money. I should be the one providing you, and because I'm a provider and I'm, you know, because men hunt and women, you know, cook and clean and, you know, and we're the ones that provide and all that, right? Exactly. So then I'm like, I feel like men should be proud and feel confident. Like, man, I got myself a girl who doesn't need me for that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's awesome that I don't need to worry about that. And that if she wants me is because she loves me and she doesn't need me. Like, I don't like,
Exactly. That should be something.
so exactly. So it's like, hey, like I have him and I want him, but not because I need him. It's because I want him. I want to be with him. I want to share my
Exactly.
life and I want to, so basically that's what I told her. I'm like, I think they should feel confident and I think it's absurd that men think that way. And it's not that anybody needs anyone, is that people choose to be with someone because they want to share their life with them and create memories. Nobody needs anyone. In
Yeah.
reality, like you don't need anyone. Like you can take, I mean, anybody can
Take care of
take care of
yourself.
themselves. And it's just like, how nice is it that be like, okay, well, like she chose me to just share her life with me and everything,
That
but
should
she
be so.
doesn't
Yeah.
financially need me. Like, but I don't know why they see it in a bad way. Like, oh, you're not attractive anymore because you're not, because I can't provide to you and I can't be
Because
like the
they're just
bigger
being fucking
person.
haters, dude. That's what it sounds like. They're being haters. Like
And I'm
you're just
like,
mad that she's making more bank than you. Period.
exactly. So then I'm like, we don't need to be rescued. That's what I told them. I'm like, women don't need to be rescued, and that's why men don't get. Like we're
Yeah.
not like damsels in distress, and we can, like we don't need to be
Like you want
rescued.
someone who'd be there with you, like spend time with, love you, hold you, and you don't need
Mm,
anybody like to be like you're stupid if you want a gold digger, that's gonna just want you for your money. Like why would you want that?
exactly. Or like, why would you want someone like that? Like, or even then, like, so I go back and forth, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you don't want someone to be like, oh, I make more money than you, and you're worthless. I can do better, or like, not that I can do better than you, but I don't need you. I can
That's
be fine by myself, and this and that. Then that's different, like,
yeah, because she's throwing it in your face.
yeah, like you don't want someone like whenever you get mad and be like, what the fuck? Like, I don't need you. Like, you're not doing anything for me. And, and you don't want someone to put you down either. But
Yeah,
then
so
you
that's
also,
different.
yeah, but then you also like, I don't see why that would make someone unattractive, making more money than your partner, like your male partner.
Yeah, I
And
don't
it's
I
like,
don't get it.
it's so tough.
I think it's just being fucking haters. Like just like I actually know this guy at work who well, he works with me, you know what I mean? And he's like a regular employee, dude. Like they don't get paid a lot of money. And he's part-time.
Yeah.
But then again, he's married with this girl who has her own practice, like dental practice.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
And she's making good money, but he's like proud, proud
Well,
that
yeah, I feel like that's
has
how it
her
should be.
own, and he's like, yeah, like she makes good money, and I don't need to be working full time. Like, and she tells me, like he's like, I used to take care of the kids. And that's, and I only did that because she wanted to open up this and she didn't have time. So he was actually taking care of the kids and he said he didn't mind, which is actually a good thing, like they got each other's back. That's the way it's supposed to be. Like you're taking care of the kids because she's trying to, you know,
And I
be
feel like
better,
that's, yeah. And I feel like
so
that's how it should be. It should be
like be
like,
proud.
hey, like if one of them is not working, the other one could work, and then the other one takes care of whatever, or the other way around. It doesn't have to be just the wife,
Like, take turns, or whatever.
no,
Like
or however the fuck it works. But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like that. You making a lot more money
that's
makes you unattractive, and
unattractive.
like not being able to get a guy. And I feel like guys do get intimidated by women that are more self-sufficient, and
Or
they're like more like, I don't need you. And it's because in reality nobody needs anybody. They're there because they want to, like, because it's human nature to have someone there with you. And you don't want to be alone, or some people do want to be alone, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, it sucks that men would be like, oh no, you have all this and you've achieved all this, but you're unattractive and you're
You're
not
unattractive.
dateable anymore. And I'm like, what? You would
That's
think
stupid.
that.
If anything, they're missing out on a great person. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she got her shit together. What more do you want? Like, you don't
exactly.
have to be, guys are so dumb sometimes. Well, not all, but you know
Well,
what I mean.
because I'm telling you, they want to be like, they want to have someone like rescue them or like be like, oh no, I can, like, I don't know what men want, but it's insane. I thought it was interesting. Like that he said it like that, and even one of the guys is like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to put this out there because the women are gonna come after you for saying
Yeah,
that." Like,
definitely.
and I'm laughing. I'm like, I don't know what podcast it is, but it's like I just heard it and I like that little clip, and I was like, "What?
You're like, what the fuck? I gotta
Like,
fucking
how are you deemed undateable or not? When
for
you're
being successful.
together."
That's stupid.
But I think it's just certain guys who are just like the machismo kind of.
Yeah, just how there's certain girls who just want guys for their money. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. And there's some girls that just,
Or maybe
want to be held and loved. You know what I mean?
maybe it's just definitely like a control thing. They just want to be in control. They
That's
want to.
like the machismo. That's where it starts kicking in. Like, oh well, I'm a guy and I got it. Like, no,
I got it, babe, I got it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it's cool.
It's cool that you
there's
got
nothing
it,
wrong
but
with you having it, but there's nothing wrong with me having it too. Like
exactly.
with both of us having it, or like me, or neither one of us
Just
having
put it
it. Neither one of us having it. But I'm just saying that like it's definitely something where like if the guy is upset because you're making more money than him, it's definitely a control thing where they want to be in control of you.
So who's gonna
And
even
it's
want
like,
to
fuck you. Like, no, like,
Yeah, like, bro, no, thank you.
exactly. No, I'm good. I'm doing good. And it's bullshit. It is.
It
It's
is.
like you're a hater. Like you think that you're the only
He
one
is
that can
being
make
a hater.
money.
That's exactly what it is. It's just fucking being a hater, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
what
instead of
else?
being proud, like, why the
Like,
fuck
that's
is
right, baby. Like, oh yeah, like, buy me some shoes. Aye.
exactly? Or
Like, it's cute. Like, or take me out to dinner or whatever. Why not? Enjoy it.
you got this. You're good.
Yeah, like, hey, I got it today. You got it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Time to be alive, start a podcast, become a DJ, try and fill the void inside. I'd be lying if I didn't say that sounds nice. Wake up, check your phone, for the batteries die.